This dang record button. We can go around. There it is.
Good morning. Thank
Good
you so much
morning.
for joining us for content class. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Julie.
And I'm Jess.
Together, we're socially inclined.
We are. Thank you for joining us this morning. This is our first content class, so if it seems like we're working out the bugs a little, it might be because we are. Yes, we have practiced, and we've thought long and hard about the format of how we want this to go. But we're going to bring you, we're guaranteeing 52 weeks, but there will be something in 2023 that I'm sure will be different as well. But let's do 2022 first. Content class today, we're going to talk a little bit about content in the front end, why it's important, what we're talking about when we're talking about content. And we're going to explain why we're actually teaching you how to write content when everyone who's on here knows that we make a living selling done-for-you content. So we're going to talk about the difference between done-for-you content that you can buy and the kind of content that we're going to teach you to write when you show up live with us in these content classes.
Exactly. And I will say that this is also going to be, this one class will be in the TAT. So if you're catching this on replay in TAT and you love this format, you'll be able to come join Academy so that you can get the rest of the classes. So I just wanted to interject that since we are recording these.
For sure. So going forward, content class, as Julie mentioned, will be exclusive to our already robust list of SI Academy members. Thank you, everybody, for who has hopped on that idea that we've brought to life. So content. Why on earth are we showing up weekly to teach you how to write content? Isn't that going to cut into our bottom line? Because everyone knows we sell tens of thousands of pieces of content in the socially inclined store. Why the heck are we doing this, Julie?
Because content is the lifeblood of growing your business. And so many people, like myself, are somewhat intimidated by writing. You know, I can do it, I can pull it out, but there are so many of us that, given the opportunity, we will find something else to do. And we need to give you a way to make this a priority in your business and understand what a great piece of content, number one, can be used for, but also it attracts and it just builds your business. So it is the cornerstone of growth, of traffic.
Exactly. And for those of you who are YSP members and you're subscribing to that monthly content that we do put out, you know that we have this really awesome proprietary formula for our daily content called the MVP method. And basically what it is an algorithm massager that is going to help you get seen when you feel like all you've had is crickets until now. And that's based on the fact that in order to get more visibility in the algorithm, you have to offer something more than just niche post after niche post after niche post, which is where the done for you content that we sell with the motivational content or the engaging questions, those are simply aimed at getting your audience to spend more time on your posts, more time on your feed, maybe click over to your profile so that it tells Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, hey, that person is interested in this person's content. Let's show it to them more. Content class is going to help you with that third post that people struggle with the most. And those are your building know, like, and trust posts. Those are your posts where you're putting out gently your reviews, where you're bragging a little bit without bragging. We're going to show you how today, spoiler alert, well, it's not spoiler, you're here. Today's post prompt is going to be that all-important tip that is going to help establish you as an expert. And if I haven't mentioned it yet, each week is going to have a different prompt. So that's where we're really going to get some great versatility in your content writing ability. But that's the difference. The difference is we give you the M and the V. And we talked all last year, Julie and myself did, about how to help and how to serve more for the entrepreneurs who's everybody is struggling to write those promo posts, and not just promo posts, but the value-driven posts that really help establish you as somebody who people want to look to for that product and service.
Exactly. And in this format, we're talking about content as a whole. So learning this skill, you're going to be able to take this, and whether it be a post, you can fluff it up a little bit and make a whole blog post out of this. You're going to be able to do carousel posts. You're going to use this one idea, and then you're going to expand on it to be able to do so many things. So we're going to give you the prompt, and you're going to be able to run with it, and you're going to feel so good.
Exactly. So we had some people ask about a resource. This is the resource we're giving away today, and it's going to look similar each week. When this becomes, starting next week, when it's exclusively for our SI Academy members, it will be filled in a little bit more, and it will be a little less generic. But for now, just for showing up, you can get the content class planner, and that's going to kind of be your guide to the prompt that we're going to share. And then you can take notes on it, or you can take notes on your notebook or just a piece of paper. I'm all about simplicity while we're kind of talking through the different ways that you can bring this particular prompt to life. So what did we miss, Julie? Anything for our intro? We talked about types of content. Did we talk about types of content, or we just talked about how we're going to repurpose them?
Just barely. And I just want to make sure that we really put the exclamation point on the fact that content, so last year, it's no secret that we decided, 2020 was, whoa, for everyone. So in 2021, we decided to drive our business forward, we had to show up. Content is a form of showing up, so we put out tons of our own content. We're helping you to grow. We're helping, whatever. So we're showing up live as well. So this is the first step. Everything revolves around this skill that you're going to learn. And that's why we put so much importance on it. It's going to be hard to drive your business forward without it. So, and I just want to say that, we talked about the algorithm and how important that is. So if you've got crickets, this is going to help as well.
Exactly. And I would almost say, who doesn't have crickets? Like, everyone kind of is experiencing that cricket response. And it's so disheartening when you spend a lot of time on a piece of content like this, that then when you put it out there, you get 2 or 3 likes, and it's like your mom and your aunt and your business partner.
Which can help, but that's
yeah.
But if that's all it is, that's not your people. You've got to put the thing out there to attract your people. And that's what that MVP that we established, really put a name to it, and, to stroke the algorithm, this is the exclamation point on that.
Exactly. And whenever you do this, so let's say you show up to content class for a month, and all of a sudden you have 4 really awesome topics that you feel really comfortable writing on and repurposing and turning it into blog posts, videos, whatever, but you're still not getting the engagement you want to make sure that you're putting out that M and that V content, because it all works together. As I mentioned in that very first opening spiel, if you are just putting out niche content about how, not everyone wants to see fitness tips every day. Now, they're important to everybody. Everybody can stand to live a little healthier, drink more water, walk more, whatever it is. But not everyone wants to see those all the time. The important part is to be putting yourself out there in these value-led ways, so that when someone does have that need, that they come to you for it. So
exactly. All right. We all have those friends that you see, or you see in your feed, and you're just like, wow, that's an awesome post. And it's from the place of, it's just like this. They've taken a topic, they've interjected themselves into that piece of content, and they're writing it for the end user, to make an impact on them. And, so I take note tremendously when I see them. I save them. I love to see the people that lead with value like that. And they're attracting eyeballs. So they have tons of comments. That's what we're trying to get you to. And I just saw, I forgot who it was. Melissa says she feels like she works so hard and she hears nothing back in her group. So you can bring your group back. It is going to take Yeah, we talk about the algorithm. So the magic is that you have to get likes and comments for them to see the next piece of content, basically. I mean, that's a very simplified way to see it, but you've got to build momentum with that. You've got to start somewhere so you've got to ask basically at the end of your posts for them to do something. So I just want to say, yes, we understand that, there's a effort that's going to be taken to write this content. And that's why on the back end, repurposing this is going to be so good for you, because you're going to be able to take this one thing and do lots of things with it over the course of year or however often.
Oh, I love this so much. So I'm sorry, we are about to get into content class to the actual meat of teaching you. But this, so someone asked what MVP stands for. That's our proprietary blend of 3 daily posts that help you kind of overcome that algorithm where you're going to post something motivational or inspirational, something visibility boosting, which is usually in the form of a national holiday, if there's one, or a question about a national day. There's tons of them, and it's a great way to get people talking, or just simply a question of the day. Yeah. That's what our 365 engaging content that's done for you that you can buy. That's where those posts come from, the M and the V. We can do those for you very, very cheaply now, or very, very inexpensively, affordable. But what we're doing is teaching you in content class, we're teaching you how to write those promo posts, those
presence posts,
know, like, and trust, presence building posts. That's what these prompts are for. And that plays perfectly into what Ryan said. Just remember, outreach is not always about revenue. Yes, 80-20 rule. It's about providing resources and establishing relationships. Just because it's the other two R's doesn't mean there was no long-term impact. Love it. That was great, Ryan. Thank you for that input.
And you think about those relationships as like I mentioned earlier about when you see people in your feed, okay? So they are drawing, so it's attraction marketing. They are drawing you into them with those types of posts. So, you may not act on it. You may not need their service for quite a while. You might not ever need their service, but you can still form a relationship that's business building, that's networking, whatever it is. So, but this is all based on attraction marketing.
Awesome. We're getting some really banging YSP feedback in the chat. And I'm kind of, all right. Content class. So going forward for you Academy members, starting next week, content class isn't going to have all this talk in front of it at the beginning, because we've already gotten it out of the way. Content class is going to be straightforward. We're going to respect your time. We're going to respect our time. We're going to get started with a prompt, and we're going to show you how to write to it, how to expand it to different pieces of content. So I've already dropped this content class planner. Hopefully you like it. And today's topic, going forward, today's topic is going to be written, right? I'll have typed it out there in that today's topic area, but I didn't do that today because we were working on some other parts of content class. But today's prompt is share a number one overall most important tip with your readers.
And this seems so simple. You see tip posts all the time, but we wanted to tackle this one as the first one because there is somewhat of an art to how we present these. Okay. And if you can tackle this one, this is going to serve you. If you only show up to one, this one is going to serve you well over the course of your life. Hopefully you'll be here, but over your social media life, this is a great one to start with.
Exactly. And even though, it's the number one most important tip, don't let that stop you or don't let that pigeonhole you into just one tip. Period. So the beautiful thing about every content class is that you're going to be able to tweak the suggestion and cover something that you haven't covered before. So this could literally be your post prompt for every single Tip Tuesday, starting today, all the way through 2022. So I mean, it would behoove you to sit down and just journal out or brain dump, as Julie likes to say, 10 tips. And so at some point, a couple of weeks ago, we had a gentleman join us who was in end of life care. And that really stuck with me because that's probably the hardest, most delicate niche that I think has ever shown up, or at least told us what their niche was in Alive. Even if you're in end of life care, there are 10 tips that you can jot down to have in your arsenal for this Tip Tuesday type thing. And it doesn't have to be Tip Tuesday. It's just Tuesday. It happens to be the first Tuesday of 2022. So I'm using that kind of as my example. Of course, in the financial niche, there are 10 tips for budgeting, saving money, getting out of debt, whatever it is. In the fitness niche, I could probably give you about 25 in 30 seconds. Beauty niche, the same thing goes there.
Exactly. So, I'm a fan of batching. So that's where the brain dump that I talk about all the time comes from, because it's harder to do the thing one time than it is to get in. You've got to get all geared up to do it. So again, every content class, we're going to give you a topic, but if you can brainstorm that topic and go ahead and come up with multiple ideas for that, it's going to serve you throughout the end of the year. So, we're going to do this once a week. If you come up with 7 ideas, okay, well then that covers the other weeks. You're going to spread them out over time, but you get the idea. So
exactly. So with this most important overall tip, why is it so effective? Well, because especially when people are trying to start something new, they don't want to half-ass it. And everyone, I think everyone wants to shorten their learning curve. So it's whenever you present something. So I'm already kind of moving on to this craft an epic post title, if you will. You want to create a little interest, a little pique their interest, if you will. So they want to avoid taking any missteps whenever they start something new. So whenever you present something as the single most important thing you can do to lose weight is drink plenty of water. So then you build that piece of content around the amount of water they should drink, how to drink more water before meals, what purpose that serves, keeping them fuller, helping them eat fewer calories. Or maybe you're Deanne and your slant is the mindset shift you need to make in order to succeed in 2022. She knows that most likely what her ideal clients struggle with the most is the confidence in believing that they can do anything. So she's going to come at this particular piece of content from a confidence angle. Or if it's not confidence, then it's maybe one of the other 9 that she brainstorms to kind of bring that full circle for her.
Exactly. Most people, and again, I want to say that when you're writing these, they have to be in a place of serving your reader. Okay. So you're really trying to address, they're going to be specific to you. You're trying to address what it is that's going to capture their attention, that's going to give them a win. That was like our whole thing for Take Action. In a post, you're also establishing your authority by doing this. So you want them to be in the focus of the post, and you want yourself to be in the focus of the post when you're coming up with these ideas. So are you finished with the title? I was going to say, I was going to bring in a cake post, but I'll save it. So go ahead, because we're not really finished with this yet, because it needs to have a good hook.
No, yeah. So I had come up with one more difficult kind of out of the box example. I'm going to strive to do 3 every week, and then we'll take a few for those of you who are live with us. But this is one, and it's such a big niche, and I never realized how big it was, but the survival niche, like the doomsday preppers. So for instance, their post title could be something like the number 1 most important survival supply that you need. And I think that most people immediately think about food because, I know I do. It gets 10:45 and I'm hungry. So, a lot of people think about food, but those key points would center around water. So that that kind of angle would be surprising. It would create interest, and it would almost definitely get someone to read it. So going on to key points and how you would build those out, it would be more like teaching them how to store the water for long-term use, how to add bleach or purifying drops, where to get those, what containers they should use and where it should be stored, things like that. And when you go about brainstorming like that, in just a few seconds, you can see how that one single most important tip has been broken out into 4 or 5 key points, which can be broken out into a 800 words seems like a lot, blog post, an 800-word blog post, which can then become a 3 to 5 minute YouTube video where you just look like a banging, know what you're talking about survival expert.
Exactly. I want to, it was awesome. I think
it's our first content class. So,
yeah. And so, we're big on the why. So that was what the whole beginning of this is. So I want to circle back to the post title. And I want to say really quick that the post title is basically your hook to get them to start reading. So, and if it's a blog post, obviously you've got to, that's your title. But if it's a social media post, it's going to be your first sentence. So I want to give you a little structure here. And it's going to be what will hook them in. And it has to be interesting, like really interesting. So like on her points of, say the thing you said for survival again, like what would your title be?
So the title would be, and this, thank you because I was actually talking and I was like, oh, so they're going to probably get a little confused about post title versus that epic first sentence. The number one most important survival supply you need.
All right. And stop right there. What if you added a ellipse and said, and it's not what you expect?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Sorry. This is unrehearsed, but when
or you can even play to what your audience is thinking and say, hint, it's not food.
Yeah, exactly.
So because then you just cut them off right there. Well, heck yes,
what is it? Yeah. So, well, what do I need more than I need food? And that's but they would think, oh, it's got to be water or whatever. But you're establishing yourself as an authority because you're saying you know what you know, but you're also creating that interest that makes them want to read more. All right. So if they're new to a topic, or let's say, fitness is easy for us. If it's fitness related, everyone.
Come on, challenge yourself. We had a request.
Oh, for CBD. All right. So what does the person, if they know nothing, okay, and this is your number one tip about CBD, what is the burning question that someone has about CBD? Like, people I don't know this industry very well. I know a little bit about it. Like I know it doesn't have THC in it. I know it has medicinal properties. I know it has, tremendous effects on anxiety, whatever. Pick any of those things to use as an angle or a slant, whatever you want to call it, and come up with how you can address what their question around that would be and turn it into the tip. Okay. So especially if they're new to it and they don't know a lot of people will not reach out to you no matter what your niche is. They don't want to just reach out and ask a question. You're answering the question with this post. You're inviting them to read. You're inviting them to learn more and build, know, like, and trust you so that they will reach out at some point. This is the long game. Content has to be the long game.
All right. So I Googled it. You ready? While Julie was talking there for that 45 seconds, the benefits of CBD. And the very first one on the very first Google search, now you would have to decide if this was reputable enough for you to want to use. It's Healthline. That's a huge one. And the number one thing is it may relieve pain. Okay. So the number one overall benefit of using CBD is its propensity to relieve pain, or its ability to relieve pain, or maybe you even have the personal story, Sharice, because I know you said you used it, your husband and your kids, or maybe, I'm not sure. You have some kind of positive benefit throughout your family with that. So I would play to that as well. But then your key points would be, where to put it to relieve certain pain, how it might also help with sleep and appetite. And seriously, guys, I know nothing about CBD. I just Googled this and I'm looking at the very first tip and how they're breaking this down. And I'm just speaking to that. So have CBD and THC.
And I have a little how tip here. So, you know your business better than anyone else, but there's going to be times, and it's okay, that you need to Google. So, and I'm almost challenging you, even if you know your business backwards and forwards, there is a trick that when you Google and you start typing, Google finishes it for you. Those are the topics people are searching. That's what your post should be about. That's how you come up with what your angle slant is going to be on this post. And in their words, because that's what's put there in the search, not in the search results, but what drops down, like not in the search results. That's their language. That's what they're searching. Okay. So that's their burning desire that they need to know about CBD or whatever.
Exactly. And I just want to speak for a second to the value of these content classes, because that's exactly how, obviously I put a lot more research. When Julie and I do one-on-one content, you can look in our store. It starts at $500 a month for 15 posts. And that's where we're writing these posts, these style posts for you. Obviously, $15 a month for 4 classes on it is a lot more affordable. But if Sharice came to me and said, I just don't have the time, that's how I would go about doing it. I'd have to do the research. I'd have to make sure that I understood and I used it from a reputable source. I'd have to create the design. I'd have to create the copy. And that right there, for those of you who are in our niche, you understand when people come back and they're like, $500 for 15 posts. That's why. That's why.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why that price point is there, because you're asking a professional to do research and create a professional product for you. So hopefully you're starting to get a touch. I see some really good feedback about what you guys think of content class so far. And I hope you're getting an idea of just how valuable this series is going to be for your business this year.
Yeah. And you're the expert. I just want to give you permission. So you're the expert in your niche. Okay. And you may be new, you may have been in it 20 years, okay? But you have permission to go out and look and see what is out there as far as Google. What are those top few, posts that are showing up there? What are they writing about? Is there anything earth-shattering? Is there anything you can rebuke? Is that the right word? Anyway.
Yeah. Well, so, sorry, Savita just said Patty said it's a great way of Googling is a great way to arm yourself to combat misinformation.
Correct.
And it's your job. It's your job as an expert in your industry or as a defender of your business and your profit to be ready to stand up to objections.
Right.
So, and most definitely misinformation.
Yep. Our network marketers on here. So, there is a negative connotation to network marketing, pyramid scheme, whatever so you're automatically a lot of times writing in, overcoming that objection to why they need to join, whatever, that it's not whatever. That's an idea. That's the example of, how your research is power. Okay. So knowing what the objections are.
Exactly. All right. So we're getting there, Kim. I see your question. She says, Jessica, so you put all this info in an IG photo and it stops the scroll. I'm confused. How do I set this up? All right. So we're getting there. But doing this setup on the front end and kind of doing this little bit of brainstorming is how you're going to be able to quickly take this and turn it into multiple pieces of content. So
exactly. So this is the big thought. This is the big piece that if you want to look at it at your epic piece of content, whatever, it's the lifeblood. It's the, it's exactly the meat of it. Yeah,
exactly. So you craft your post title, you have your key points, which those are not, I hope we drilled this in enough. Those are not that's not where you brainstorm your 10 different tips. That's where you break down that number one tip. Why is that tip important? What ways can you serve people with that tip? And then that first sentence magic, that's where you add that little bit of, it's not what you thought, or this is why you need to read more kind of thing. Next, y'all might have already read forward. So this flesh it out page, we're going to talk a little bit more about this in future content classes, but this is going to be for the longer formats. So obviously, if it's Instagram, what you're going to do is more about the graphic carousel post. That's more about the graphic. But fleshing it out, this is where you're going to do blog posts. This is where you're going to flesh out your 4 points to be talking points for a live video, or talking points or different slides for a story.
And every piece of, I just want to be clear too, that so this is the whole idea for your piece of content that fleshed out. Then you're going to turn it into what you need at the end.
At the end, that's a great title. That would be both of them. Does that make sense? But that would be more of the topic and the title are the same thing. Sorry, I think we're getting confused. The topic and the title are the same thing. You've taken the topic and you've turned it into your niche. That's the title. Got it. And then your first sentence is the one where you kind of build it out a little bit.
Right. It's the hook. It's the.
Exactly. Sorry, we're getting a lot of questions.
I know.
I help women.
Debbie might have to field some of those and put them all together at the end.
Exactly. All right. And then once you build, and so if this is a Facebook post, then yeah, you might have a second sentence or even a paragraph or two. So you can use that here to kind of break it down. We put a little instruction here. You'll fill in the details related to your initial statement and elaborate on those points. And that's how you build out a piece of content from that first page brainstorming that you did. And then you want to take all of that and think about what kind of engaging question, what kind of call to action, what action do you want them to take on this post? Is it simply, if you want more information about survival techniques or water preservation, then download my free guide to surviving Armageddon, whatever it is, the CTA. Or if you're not upselling, maybe you're just asking them a question and trying to get them to engage with you.
But this is a huge part of your post. It needs to have, and it can have both. It can end with, so if it's the prepping one, are you prepared? Mm-hmm. You can flesh it out a little bit more than that. And then it can be, if yes or no, or whatever it is, and then it can lead to the freebie. But you want to try to get, because of that MVP and the algorithm, we want to try to get comments on this post. So ending, if it's a post, okay, if it's a social media post, when you're ending, even if it's a blog, you always want to end with the question. Because if it's a blog, they can comment below. If it's a social media post, they can comment. If it's a live, they can comment. That is where the magic happens, is when you get people to respond. Okay, so it will always end in a question or call to action.
Exactly. Savita, I like your prompt, or I like your title. I would make it the number one reason messiness is costing you thousands of dollars. Because when you put that number one there, it immediately kind of disarms them and keeps them from feeling like it's going to be a novel. Because everyone wants it to be short and sweet. And I guess we hadn't said that yet, but the reason there's not a whole lot of space here is because your content shouldn't be long. Even your blog posts should be relatively short, 2 to 5 minute read max.
Yeah, which would equate probably to 500 to 1,000 words. There is, in a blog post, there is a time for epic blog posts. That's fine. I wouldn't try to strive. It's going to be harder for you to do that. So I wouldn't strive for them to be. You're going to want to test when it comes to social posts. So if it's Facebook or Instagram, whatever. They have limits, so you're going to automatically be limited by the character count. I forgot what the character count is, 2,600 or something like that for Instagram. So you're going to be limited, but you're going to want to test long, epic content on social versus a little shorter read. Time is money. So if you can get the point across in a little shorter read and highlight those points, the main thing is to get them to read and get the aha.
Exactly. So I see these questions about fine art, and let me think on that one for a minute, but I do see a way. So Heather, she's the artist and maker. I think she does the jewelry and things like that. And then Kim, of course, does fine art. From there, if you're not teaching art or if you're not selling art classes, obviously art tips might seem a little off topic, but not necessarily, because people who like to do art like to buy art as well. And then you could also go about it from the same angle that Mary Alice, the crochet lady, would. And that is highlighting the number one reason buying from a local artist is better than buying from Walmart, or is better than buying from Hobby Lobby. Insert whatever it is that would kind of like surprise people, that kind of thing. Tips might be a little bit more difficult. Yeah, Patty,
that's great. Buying tips. It can be, or how to choose if it's your first piece of fine art. How do you choose what speaks to you? Whatever, it can be on those lines.
Thank you, Patty. That's great. Why art isn't just for millionaires.
Nice. Yes.
Love it. Love it. All right. So this last page is.
Can we circle back really quick? We just glossed over the graphic. So we've done TATs on, the anatomy of a post and how important it is. So, but because of the question about Instagram and how to pull this together or whatever, your graphic, no matter what piece of content you decide to make this into, or pieces of content, the graphic is important. It should hint to what the answer is. Like if you're hinting in the topic, but not totally give it away. It should create interest as well. And it should always be an attention grabbing, scroll stopping. Pro tip: don't just go to Google and grab an image. You can get in trouble. Go to Unsplash, Pexels, Canva, somewhere like that. But it needs to, we're trying to establish ourselves as the expert here. So fit and finish. Okay. Your content should look good and read well. So graphic is going to help.
Exactly. And the way we fleshed out this number one tip would be an excellent opportunity if you're taking it to Instagram to do a carousel post. Now, sure, you can just do a single standalone post with that one tip front and center. But if you do a carousel post with your first sentence magic on the front that says something like, the number one most important survival supply you need, hint, it's not food. Swipe right to see what I'm talking about. And then you reveal that it's water. And then you go into your points where you've broken it down, those key points right there where you've said it's water. It's the most important thing. You can live longer without food than you can without water, without hydration. And then you can talk about your tips of
like how to make sure
storing water.
How they have it when they need it. Yeah,
exactly.
Buy the straw, store it, whatever it is. Here's your 3 things.
Exactly. And then at the end, that last slide always should be like did you enjoy this tip? Save it for later and go check out my link in bio to get on my newsletter and get more tips.
Or if you're in affiliate marketing, to buy the straw that you saw here. That's how. So we do have affiliate marketers here. We have some of everyone, as you can see, that chat in on these calls. We have what we call lurkers too, that just are here learning, that don't like to talk. But I dare say that we have people from every industry. So if you're in affiliate marketing, that's a great way, to use your link in bio to push them back it would push them back to the blog post, that in the blog post would have your link to go buy that purifying straw, purifying tablets, whatever it is.
Exactly. All right. So this third page, this is where you're going to make easy work of turning the work you did on the first 2 pages into anything else that you want. So you will immediately get a feel for what your primary content will be. For us, it's usually a Facebook group post. Sometimes it feels like a Pinterest post, whatever it is that is naturally your initial piece. So then you can brainstorm what those keywords are surrounding that piece of content. That would be something like survival prep, survival tips in the survival niche that I'm stuck in. And then the hashtags that are going to be important on just a few on Pinterest, but several. You can use plenty on Instagram, and that will help you kind of hone in and get more visibility there. But in general, if you take those key points that you fleshed out on that first page, you have a quick and easy outline for a carousel post, a reel, a story, and a Pinterest pin or infograph. And all of those things you can bring to life very, very quickly using pre-made templates in free Canva. So all of that's free. If you don't know how to use them, we have lots of Canva School in our Take Action training program. But then you can use your longer format that you built out to turn it into a live video, a 3 to 5 minute YouTube video, and even a podcast.
Exactly. And I want to say that the keywords are super, super important, because you're grabbing them with attention, things that they would be normally searching. So those are searchable. If you start, so a lot of people want to start, we're trying to avoid this somewhat, but a lot of people teach this by starting with a blog post and then repurposing it to everyone. But we don't want to lock you into having, a lot of people are like, I do not have time to blog. I don't see the point, whatever. So this is an idea for content that then you have this framework that you can turn it into whatever you want. No matter what it is, you're going to need keywords that are going to speak to it. So if you happen to do a blog post with it, you get tremendous SEO value in it. So if you do an Instagram post, your keyword is basically your hashtag, and that's going to bring people to it again. So these keywords, hashtags, are going to bring traffic to the post. That's why they are important.
Exactly. People are running around upstairs. I'm sorry if you heard that. So yeah, that is content class.
Yep. So Danny says,
I need outro music.
We do. I'm into everything from blogging to YouTube to Facebook to IG, groups, TikToks, podcasting, LOL. That is exactly why this is in this format. If you come up with your content and how to build it, then you have everything you need to build any piece of content. Okay. So no matter what you use, if you're a YouTuber, then you can, build your videos off of this content. Okay. If you are a podcaster, you can build your podcast. If you're a blogger, and then it makes it super easy to repurpose and get more mileage out of the work you just did. But this work really shouldn't take that long. You might need a little research. You're going to want to come up with a great hook to get them to read. So, but this really shouldn't take a lot of time.
Exactly. And we have a few questions that were outstanding. Let me just answer those real quick, and then we got to get. Melissa says her topic is she helps women rebuild life and confidence after domestic violence. So I'd give them a tip on how to do this. That would be their number one question about this. So just like the end of life care, that this is a very delicate topic. So it's going to look very different than the single most important thing you can do to lose weight. It's going to have a little bit of a different feel. And I'm not an expert in your niche. In this topic, I would honestly have to research 10 times as much as I would CBD to be able to write effectively on it. But you would want to come at it as, like the number one thing they're struggling with. And and how the best way to move past that number one thing, if that makes sense.
And that you understand, like when
Lot
they
of
read it, it's
compassion.
going to be that you're reading their mind, that you have gotten to the place where they identify with the feeling of, oh my gosh, it's time to get out, or whatever it is. You know, these are my next steps. You have made me see the light. And these are the steps these are the very first steps that you can do.
Exactly. And Sarah is asking about Grit, Grind, and Grace. It's not ready yet, but we're thinking next week.
Or maybe office hours. We're going to talk about it office hours. So y'all come to office hours. We'll talk about it some.
But it is almost ready. And then Kim wanted to know was on the first slide. I'm back on the first slide. So there you go. And thank you, Deanne. The number one thing you must do to rebuild your life after domestic violence.
Perfect. Yeah, Deanne's great in this space too.
Then lead it to a whole series on baby steps and self-love, self-forgiveness, self-care, rebuilding confidence.
Exactly.
All right, someone on that, cut her a check.
Yeah. So on that, you know, you can see how much supporting content come from this. Just from this one content idea, you could, you know, have months worth of content. So we're gonna address a whole brand new one next week.
Exactly. Charisse, you would want to put that first sentence magic or like your compelling post title question on your front slide. And then in your other slides of your carousel, you would flesh out your key points. You would reveal your solution and then flesh out your key points and then give it a nice CTA. Need to relieve pain like I did? Contact me. Link in bio. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, in the most respectful way possible. Right. Sorry.
Blah, blah. That's the CTA. Blah, blah, blah. But we did carousel posts in TAT. So if you have TAT replays, go and look for that one. That will tell you exactly the steps to create a great carousel.
Exactly.
So that was TAT. We showed you the how of the mechanics of all the posts and the things. This is going to tell you how to now speak to your audience.
All right. I am so glad that you guys enjoyed this, or it seems like you did. We've gotten some good feedback. If you didn't like what you saw, then, you know.
If we didn't sell you, so I'm big on the why. If we didn't sell you on the why, it's going to be hard for you to build your business without great content and messaging. And this is it. So you have got to.
Thank you, Charisse. I'm so glad.
Thank you, Charisse.
I'm so glad. But if you did love it, and you're not an SI Academy member already, do consider joining. It's $15 a month. It's going to stay $15 a month because we really want to make it accessible to as many people as possible. And then, of course, if you know a small business owner who could use stuff like this, we love referrals. Please send them our way.
Yep. And the SI Academy, it also is not just content class. It is there's 80, there's, I would say 40 topics in there that there are full-blown courses on for anything building your business. So Debbie, does anybody know the link to get to the Academy?
She already shared the Academy link.
Awesome.
It was shared at 11:56 and 53 seconds. Thank you, Debbie. She was on top of it.
She was on top of it. Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome, Anna. Thank you. The Cat Whiskers Mobile Art Studio. That was great. I'm glad the brain is ticking and the juices are flowing.
Exactly. You, hopefully this will get you excited to write some content today. Just try it. Just try it. If nothing else, just do a quick Facebook post and see how this can get some traction going.
Exactly. All right. You guys come to the group and tell us publicly what you thought about Academy. You can go to that pinned post where I said, join us for content class. Sorry. Tell us what you thought about content class. We would love to have that social proof. We have tons of new people coming into the group all the time. So if you loved it, go get on that featured post and help other people know that they're making the right decision too.
And we're going to be offering something free for the people that are really engaging in the group whatever. You're going to have to stay tuned to see what it is, but it's something really awesome that you're going to get for free just for like showing up and showing up.
We're bringing that back, and we promise we're going to stick to it.
So it's,
Alrighty. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. This was great.
Thanks.
I enjoyed hanging out with everyone and all your questions.
Yep, it was a great one. See you next week.